Alright, so what we've got going on today is we've got a 2014 Dodge Avenger. And this one's equipped with a 3.6 liter V6 engine. And I want to run you step by step on how to remove and replace the spark plugs. This particular engine, you do have to remove the upper intake in order to gain access to the plugs. So I'm going to show you step by step how to remove everything that's in the way so that you can get to the plugs to do your tune-up. So with that, let's go ahead and get dirty and get up under the hood. At this point, as you can see, it is a 3.6 liter. You can tell by the plastic engine cover. You've also got our oil filter access place. Now what we're going to do is just pull this cover up. It just snaps down. 4 corners. There you go. Let's get it out of the way. Now we can actually see the engine itself. Of course, our oil filter adapter is going to be up under the lower intake, which means, of course, we've got to take the upper intake off. So we're going to proceed with going over to the air inlet box, get the upper air filter housing off, as well as the pipe leading up to the 90-degree elbow here where it goes into the throttle body. So we'll go ahead and get started on that so we can get access to the rest of the intake. Now the upper air filter cover is held in place with a total of 4 8mm screws. They usually like to stay with the upper housing, so you can just back them out. Now you do got a hose that goes from here to the front valve cover, which you need to break the seal loose on, which it gets stuck on there for a period of time. Just work on getting that off. In this case, I'm going to pry it off. But when you go back, add a little grease that way it just slides on. Now the band clamp that holds it on over here, you can use an 8mm on that as well. Now, they do have a couple of plastic fasteners that hook different things. For example, your wiring harnesses pretty much snap on all the way around the intake, as well as this air inlet. It's kind of basically keep the wiring routed in certain directions. And sometimes getting those loose is kind of a bear. We got one right here that we're going to have to get loose that's holding this brake booster hose on. Now you can try to get it loose. It's like a Christmas tree type fastener. Don't feel bad if you break it, because sometimes they go on, they don't come off. Now this one we got loose. We lucked out on that, and we're going to try to work it forward if we can get to it. And then we're going to find out we got another one back here. They're real particular on this 3.6 liter about routing everything and trying to make sure nothing comes in contact with something they ain't supposed to. So we got both of them off without any problem. Now we're getting closer. Now we need to work on getting this elbow off. To me, it's almost like a 90-degree turn going into the throttle body. We need to get that out of the way. Now it's got some plastic snaps on the bottom, as well as an air intake sensor over here we're going to take loose, and one pin retainer that you actually pull the center out of, and then the bushing to get it loose from the intake itself. So we'll move on to that real fast. Now getting this little pin out can sometimes be fairly difficult. Like I said, it's basically just a pin inserted into that bushing that spreads, and that's what tightens it down. Because this elbow does not actually use a band clamp to go on the throttle body. It's just positioned correctly and then fastened down. Now, you can try just about anything tool you got, and I'll be honest with you, different things work for me and different things don't. I've got a pair of pliers here that are used for something similar. They get other plastic retainers off. Sometimes they go easy, sometimes they don't. Once again, that falls back onto that. Add a little lube to it when you're going back. Kind of save you a hassle. Like I said, this is probably one of the harder parts of the job. There we go. I actually got it out. So, there we go. We got our little pin here that squeezes down in there, and as it squeezes in, it spreads the lower portion. So now we get that loose. Now we got to work on getting this box off, or the elbow. Now with the pin out, I went ahead and disconnected the air intake sensor. Now this elbow here has 2 rubber bushings that snap down onto pegs on the back. Now getting that off is almost one of the harder part of the jobs. I want to say this elbow right here is pretty much, that's the hardest part of the job if you ask me. The rest of it's pretty cut and dry to a point. So trying to get them popped loose, because they haven't been off probably since it was installed. Getting them popped loose and trying to work everything out is very tight. Now the elbow does not have a band clamp that attaches it to the throttle body, so it just slides on. So between that seal, the 2 rubber seals on the back, everything wanting to come loose, they stretch, but until they pop loose, you're going to fight it. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get the back corners popped loose. All right. Okay, start working it. This one wasn't too bad. Now we still, like I said, everything's got something holding it in place. They love the route stuff on this engine. So we got a power steering hose that's attached to the elbow. Got that out of the way. All right. So now if you look at the bottom, you'll see those two rubber bushings. And I'm just going to keep reiterating it. Add grease, anything to make it pop back on easy and come back off when you need to. So now that's out of the way, now we'll work on getting some of the bracketry and getting the bolts loose for this intake. So you can pretty much proceed in different routes at this point. You can start getting the vacuum hoses off, electrical connectors, whatever you want. One thing I want to point out is the bracket on the back corner above the transmission. Now this bracket, we're just going to keep it in place because once I take the nuts loose for the studs, the intake bolts and the front brackets, I'm just going to basically kind of pull it forward and work it out without having to worry about moving that bracket and repositioning it. So what I want to do is start working on getting these hoses off in the meantime, and then we'll get the electrical off as well. And it's like anything else so far, they're going to probably be on here fairly tight, especially the crankcase hose right here. Let's get this one off back here, leading to the vacuum pump. Okay, we got that out. I can go ahead and do a couple electrical connectors if I want. We've got the electronic throttle body. It has a 2-stage lock on it, like usual. You gotta push out on the red and squeeze. Go ahead and get this wiring harness unfastened from it. Same thing here on this map sensor. Pull the lock out. Work on squeezing it. Sometimes these things are down in there pretty good. If they're really worried about these connectors coming loose for some reason, but either way, it is what it is. And we'll try to pull this harness up so we can get a way to work around. All right. Now we got that larger hose. What we'll do is probably get a pair of needle nose pliers, grab them, or a pair of pliers and kind of work it to break that seal. So the rubber has a tendency to want to stick to the plastic nipple, so you got to kind of break the contact surface loose, so then you can start wiggling, rotating it to finally get it off. And then you'll see that we've got two 10 millimeters that we've got to get loose.